Yo, my name is Osman. Welcome back to another episode of From the Beginning with Osman. Today we got my boy with me. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, Urald King in the building.
Hey man. So, where are you from?
I'm from West Monroe, Louisiana.
Yes, sir. So you've been playing pro for a minute now. So how's that been?
It's been good. Of course, like with everything in life, you always got your ups and downs. So I had some beautiful times. I had some tough times, but man, it's been beautiful. Like I'm 9 years into it, the experience. So man, I'm just grateful for these 9 years and trying to keep pushing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, taking it back, at what age did you start playing basketball?
Start playing, man. I would probably say like around 7, 8 years old. Basketball is kind of a part of my family. I got an athletic family. My mom ran track. A lot of my uncles played football, American football at least, and then also basketball. So
Yeah.
from a young age, I was introduced to basketball.
So, coming from an athletic family, did you play any other sports than basketball?
I tried football a little bit, American football. It didn't really stick to me. But in high school, I ran track. I ran a little bit, and I more so did high jump. So I was in the field getting points that the guys needed.
Yeah. So you felt like did you feel like track and field was something you could went all the way with, or was it always basketball for you?
It was always basketball. Funny thing is, I actually had a chance, so I didn't get any Division 1 offers, but I almost accidentally got a Division 1 offer from track for high jump. And
Yes, sir.
so it's like funny how things work out. But now basketball was my calling. I like track, and I more so I got the chance to spend time with my football friends, but
Yeah.
basketball is my true love and my passion.
Yes, sir. So taking it back to high school, was high school the first time you played organized, or did you already play before that?
I started at 8 years old. So for us, we start in our rec league. You have a local rec league. You start on the
Yeah.
side basket. Instead of you playing full court, they'll split the two courts in half, and then they'll lower the
Yeah.
rims to nine. So at that early age, you play on those baskets. Then the older you get, you slowly crease to the full court, and you do that up until you're roughly 11, 12 years old when you're about to start middle school. And then once you start middle
Yeah.
school, you'll play for the middle school team, which in Louisiana, well, most Louisiana schools is 6, 7, and 8th grade, where you'll play
Yeah.
middle school basketball. So I was on the middle school basketball teams, and then they went to high school. So my
Yeah.
first taste of organized basketball was at a young age, like around 8 years old.
Yeah. So y'all got AAU over there. So were you already traveling at a young age, or did that come later on?
Now, for
Like
me,
for
I
basketball.
for me, I never really got the true AAU experience. I played a half a summer AAU. Because growing up, like we probably can get into this some point. Like I wasn't necessarily the best player growing up, so and then
Yeah.
also I didn't really get exposed to like the AAU market. I have a big brother; he got the opportunity to play, but I did a half a year of AAU. This was my junior summer, so I got the chance to go to Mississippi, play a little bit. Went to Arkansas, and then also we went to Orlando, Disney World, and I got a chance. That was my real first chance of traveling to go from Louisiana to Mississippi and then from Louisiana to Florida to play. So that was a good experience.
Hey, that sounds fun, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, but when at what age would you say you felt like basketball was something you could go all the way with?
Um, Realistically, I would say later in my life, I would say probably like in my 20s when I was at Division 2. Because like younger, like I said, I just really love basketball. I wasn't the best guy at scoring the ball, but I loved it so much. I didn't need to score for your team. I just wanted to be out there, rebound, set screens, play hard. I just wanted to
Yeah.
be that guy. And I always had that vision in my mind, like at some point, my offensive game will present itself. But I just got to keep working hard until it happens. So I would say late in my 20s, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So going to high school, uh, did you play for your freshman team, or were you like just at freshman year, like were you already playing on varsity or JV, or like how did you start that?
For me, when I was a freshman, so ninth grade, I played freshman. When I was a sophomore and junior, I played junior varsity. And then my
Yeah.
junior year was the first chance I really got the chance to play varsity because we had some guys in football that were supposed to be big names for us, but we needed some big guys. So I got a chance to play my junior year. But the second half of my junior year was the first time I really got the chance, like, okay, I can be a force on this team. And then my senior
Yes,
year,
sir.
I was the captain of the team. It was kind of like, Now I'm dunking on people. I'm scoring the basketball a
Come
little
on,
bit. I'm blocking
come on.
shots. So now,
Yes,
like,
sir.
I had the biggest reputation on team. I wouldn't say I wasn't the best player on my team, but as far as
Yeah,
like me being cool with everybody from both sides, black and white, being cool with football players, like guys from different neighborhoods, like I probably had the biggest name. So like guys
yeah,
would come see me. Then plus they knew you would get a dunk out of me or two at the games.
yeah. So so how was the high school experience in general? Just being an athlete.
High school for me was great. The first 2 years were a little slower. Like I didn't really get that true Letterman experience, as far as like me being a jock and everybody knowing me
Yeah,
for a jock. But I would say my junior year when I started like figuring out how to score double digits consistently, and
yes,
then my
sir.
senior year, especially now I'm dunking on people almost every game. And then yeah, exactly. So now like we get these type of crowds where people coming to see a show, not just necessarily for myself, but for the team we had. And then
Yeah,
at that point it was like, okay, like now I'm the principals, I'm getting more and more familiar with the principals. Like my teachers let me get out of class early. I can be at both lunches. So now
yeah,
my senior year is like really when I was getting that opportunity, like my name started carrying more and more weight.
yeah. So I don't really know, what states are big basketball states, but would you say Louisiana was like a state where y'all had like scouts at the game and like coaches and like a big basketball state in general?
Nah, unfortunately not. I would say Southern Louisiana, a lot of guys from there, like Greg Monroe, you got Alfred Payton, you got guys like that who came and made it to the NBA. But Northern Louisiana,
Yeah,
you really don't get too many guys that really come from our area to make it to the NBA. More so guys overseas. Like we don't really we're more so known for football within our state, especially
yeah.
Northern Louisiana. So we didn't really get too much scouting as far as basketball went.
So what happened after senior year?
My senior year, man, it was still up in the air because, like I said, I was a real raw talent. So guys saw the potential in me, but I didn't really have no true offers. I had
Yeah,
one junior college offer on the table, and then with them, it was funny because they were giving me the runaround. They knew I didn't really have too many options, so I wanted to sign in them. It was a team, Northeastern Mississippi. And
yeah,
me being from Louisiana, and I never really been anywhere outside of Florida that I just told you. So I kind
yeah,
of want to stay somewhere close to home. So I'm talking to the coach. I told him I want to come. And the coach pretty much told me, like, hey, man, we have another guy that we want to look at. And if he
damn.
doesn't sign, yeah, if
Yeah,
he
that's
doesn't
cold,
sign,
bro.
yeah, we'll get you. But you know how sometimes it is when they know you don't
Yeah,
really have much offer, they can treat you a little differently.
yeah,
But we have a thing in Louisiana. Well, it's everywhere, but we have all-star games at the end of our senior year. And
yeah,
I can't even think of the name right now, man. My mind just went blank. It'll come to me. So I played in two showcases. The first one I did really good was in the dunk contest.
yeah.
And 16 years later, I still feel like I got robbed of the dunk contest. You
Damn, you
know,
ain't won?
nah, I didn't win. I came in second place, man. They gave me second place. But
Damn.
the guy who won, he did some good dunks, but he kept missing some of his dunks. But for me, I didn't miss any of my dunks. He did some better dunks, but I
Yeah.
I made mine, and then my dunks were good too. I feel like I got robbed. But so I played in that
Damn.
showcase, and then we had a second showcase, and we had the second showcase in Ruston, Louisiana, which is like 30 minutes from my hometown. Had a
Yeah.
showcase. A guy came up to me. He was a coach for Arcadia, which is like 45 minutes away. He's like, "Hey, I just got one of my guys to go to Eastern Arizona." And he's like, I don't know what you got planned or any scholarships." So he's like, "I'll reach out to the coach and see if they need any players." And so he reached out to the coach on my behalf, and the coach came in. Just based off film, he flew to Louisiana, had a conversation with me, my mom, and my coach, and he gave me a full scholarship on the spot. So then I called
Yeah.
the coach for Northeastern Mississippi because I had a visit that day that I was supposed to go on. And I
Yeah.
was telling my high school principal at the time about the visit. And I told him I'm not going anymore. And he's like, okay, what I need you to do is call that coach and tell him that you're appreciative for the opportunity, but you're going to sign somewhere else. So I called the
Yeah.
coach and I told him I'm not going to come. And then he hit me with, oh man, we were going to give you a full scholarship. No, just wait. And it's like you guys had that opportunity. So now, I don't have any offers, so I can't sit around and
Yeah.
play with a potential opportunity. So
Yeah,
and
that's
like that
true.
was really, yeah, that was really the first time in my life where I got a chance to like really get a chance to be away from home, going from Louisiana now I'm going to be living in Arizona.
Yeah. Hey, so I've seen some Juco film, but I'm not
Mhm.
really like familiar with the whole process of Juco. What would you
Okay.
say like was your experience in Juco?
My experience, I would say it was good, man. I was the first half for me was great because it was the first time in my life where now I'm on an airplane for the first time. I'm on the
Yeah,
West Coast. I'm on my own, and now I got to figure out how to become a starter in a brand new system. So it was pretty good for me. But and then that was the first half. Then and I used to play pretty good. But the second half, you get a little homesick. You go home for Christmas break, and then you start to miss a couple things. So I kind of let my
yeah,
game slack. But for the most part, I would say it was a good experience, man. Just the fact that I'm on my own. I'm in a different conference. I'm getting to spread my wings a little bit. And then the competition was really good. Cause some
yeah,
guys then they feel like JUCO was like the dumping ground for players. But for me, I looked at it like some guys just get overlooked, but there was a lot of talent there. And I seen a lot of talent.
yes. Were you there for like the full 2 years, or you was just like 1 year there and then you left?
Now, unfortunately for me, me and my coach didn't see eye to eye at the time. I think he kind of had higher expectations for me that I can give at the time. So
Yeah,
I just did 1 year there, which I still think was a pretty good experience. Just like I said, I got a chance to like really be on my own and experience some like mind blowing things. Like I'll tell you a quick story. The first mind blowing thing for me was
yeah,
so coming from Louisiana, graduating high school, I was probably about 6'4". I'm like 6'6" now, so I had like a small growth spurt outside of
yeah,
high school. And
yeah,
so I think I'm like one of the tallest people in the world, because everybody in Louisiana, if you're a big man, we all about the same height, 6'3", 6'4". And
yeah,
now I'm at junior college, and there was a guy on the other end. I'm looking at him, he's 6'7". I'm like, okay, this is why I have to guard tonight. And he started dribbling the ball. And I was like, what is he doing? And I watched him dribble the ball, I watched him shoot threes. And in my mind, it blew my mind because in Louisiana, you don't really see guys that tall shooting
yeah,
threes. At least this is back in 2009. Of course, now you see everybody doing it.
yeah.
But at
Of
that
course, of
time, for
course.
me, I never seen somebody that tall, that long, shooting threes consistently and making it. So for me, that was
Yeah.
like the first real experience. Like, okay, like I'm not at home anymore. But to answer your question, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. I only
No,
did
you good,
one
you good,
year.
you good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I only did 1 year junior college. And then I went on to sign to a University of Regis, in Denver, Colorado. But
yeah,
I signed a letter of intent. Some things were going on back home. I didn't want to be so far away from home. And
yeah,
so I got out my letter of intent, and then I had a coach named Coach Hunter. I got to say his name because I'm so grateful for the opportunity, what he did for me.
yeah.
Uh,
Shout out
he,
to
he
him, man.
yeah, shout out to Coach Hunter. So
Yes, sir.
he knew I didn't have a scholarship at the time, and he knew a coach in southeastern Oklahoma, which is Durant, Oklahoma. And
Yeah,
he was like, I'll reach out to the coach. They still looking for some players. And they brought me in the summer. This is late June, maybe early July for a workout. And then they gave me a full scholarship on the spot. And then that kind of
yes,
just changed
sir.
my that changed my whole trajectory of how my career went. That's why I gotta have the shirt on right now to represent too.
Yeah, yes,
So
sir.
for sure.
Yeah. So, but going back to JUCO,
Mhm.
so what would you say? Like, when you say you got a full ride scholarship, is it the same way as a 4 year full ride, where you get like housing and meals and all that, or is it just
Mhm.
like you get somewhere to stay?
So things are a little bit different today than it was then, just because NIL money and different things of that nature is in effect. We didn't have any of those opportunities for it. So for me, JUCO just
Yeah,
meant they'll cover your flights to college, for home for Christmas, back to college, and then home for the end of the year.
yeah,
They gave you a dorm room, and they provided meals, but it's only in the cafeteria. So you'll get three meals a day. So it'll be breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And
yeah,
but also it's a thing called FAFSA. FAFSA is what a grant that you can get from the government, and it goes towards your school.
yeah,
So when you play Division 1 or Division 2, you receive your full Pell Grant or FAFSA. But when
yeah.
you play junior college, depending on the junior college, of course, they'll use that some of that money towards your scholarship. So you
Of
might
course.
receive a small portion of it. So for me, it just meant a small portion of my financial aid, housing, meals, and then flights home and to
Yeah.
college.
Hey, man. So yeah. So going back to
hmm
college, so what would you
hmm
say was like the biggest difference just from JUCO to college?
I would say from JUCO to the university, the biggest difference was JUCO is more of a dog eat dog world because everybody' goal is to get in and get out, especially you trying to get D1 scholarship. So it's a
Yeah,
lot of more selfish play as far as like guys are ISOing more, guys are shooting contested shots, a lot of and creating a lot for themselves versus Division 2. or at least a 4 year university, you know you can potentially be there anywhere from 2 to 4 years. So now
Yeah,
it's more so focused on team play. How can you be best within your role and focused on how to make the team win and be more successful?
yeah. So I was watching. I think it was a Jimmy Butler interview where he said he went to Juco too. He's saying if you pass
Mm-hmm.
the ball, you're not getting it back. So would you
At
say your
all.
exp? Yeah. So would you say your experience was similar? Like you had to be careful if you let the rock go, that you might not get it back.
No, for sure, for sure. Because I tell people this, this is the thing about basketball. Basketball is such a beautiful sport because it's a thin line between selfish and putting your team first. Because at the
Yeah,
end of the day, every shot you take, you're being selfish, technically.
yeah,
But if there's a shot you have to shoot because it's a part of the offense and the betterment of the team versus a shot that you're shooting because you feel like you haven't gotten a touch. You're trying to get your own points. And
yeah,
so JUCO, I definitely had that experience where it would be guys on the team that if they get this ball in a certain position, you're not getting it. You might well you go ahead and crash for the rebound and get back on defense. So I've seen a
yeah,
lot of not only from my teammates against opponents we played, there'd be times where guys would be open on the wing, but the scouting report say, "Hey, double him, make him have to pass it because we know that he's going to try to shoot everything." So it was a lot of selfishness in JUCO.
But do the coaches like are the coaches cool with that, or do they want y'all to run the plays, or like what's up with that?
I think it's a combination of both, to be honest with you. I think they recruit certain guys who they trust enough to be quote unquote selfish. Because all of us have to be a little bit selfish to be great, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
But so it's a fine line. They'll let some guys get away with a little bit more, but then they'll also try to balance the team out. So it's a fine line that they had, and it's like you just kind of gotta have to adapt on the fly, and it's something you don't learn until you're experiencing it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So do you feel like when you was there, you got the shot you wanted, or you had to just take what you can get?
I feel like early on I got the shots I wanted. I feel like they did a real good job of involving me, and then also like I'm really athletic. I've always been a guy keen on offensive rebounding, so I know ways to get mine without having to be necessarily put within the offense. So I feel like they did a
Yeah,
good job, but it's also for my JUCO coach. Like I said, we had a mixed feeling because at the time I wasn't the 20 and 10 guy. I was more of a 10-10 and maybe 3 blocks guy. And at the
yeah,
time, he wanted me to be a 16 and 10 guy, which I started out being, but just luckily. And
yeah,
but we never had this conversation about expectations. So I feel like he thought that was who I naturally was when I was telling him, like, no, this is who I am. But I
yeah,
can be adaptable. I might get you 16 this game, but I'm probably going to consistently give you 10. So, but for me, for the most part, I got my touches, but it more so was through energy and hustle.
yeah. But do you feel like having a coach that expected, a lot? Do you feel like that adds to the pressure, or that's just a part of the game?
I feel like it's a part of the game, but also I feel like coaches got to do a better job of when rookies come in, whether it's a rookie playing overseas or just a freshman coming in
Yeah,
college, you got to have these conversations. Because a lot of us, and I include myself, we don't know how to be adults yet. We don't know how to have these tough conversations. We don't know what expectations are. Because when
yeah,
you're in high school, you're just playing freelance versus JUCO. Now, more things are predicated on you receiving another scholarship. More things are focused on winning and going to conference tournaments and things of that nature. So, I don't
yeah,
think that the expectations are there, of course, but it's like I feel like if some coaches, I'm not gonna say all coaches, if some coaches do a better job of telling players what they need to hear and what they want from them, the expectations, I feel like it helped people with their transitions.
yeah. So you like playing in high school to then JUCO, college, and then pro. What level do you feel like has the best coaches?
I would say 4 year universities for
Yeah,
me, just because you know what players are going to be there consistently, and you can formulate certain offenses around certain guys, and it can be more of a system. Versus
yeah,
my experience with JUCO, it was more so isolation ball. It was few sets, but more so fast paced isolation ball. So I would say 4 year university just because they have to focus more so on the X and O's.
yeah. But going back to JUCO,
Mhm.
what would the practices like? Like if you're not running that many plays in a game, but you still got practice. So what are you doing in practice?
Man, that was so long ago. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
Uh, we of course we practiced on plays, but it was more so like if I remember right, it was like a lot of individual breakdowns. So it'd be guards doing this, bigs doing that. It'd be
yeah,
a little bit of guards and bigs working on like certain screen defensive, offensive things. So. But we played, of course, we got up and down. Of course, we got to play basketball at the end of the day. But from what, at least what I remember, it was more like individual focus as far as big guards, and then like we'll try to incorporate the two.
yeah. So now going to, uh, college, did you feel like, or like the 4 year, did you feel like you
Mm-hmm.
adapted as soon as you got there, or you had to take it like a little time, or just what was the initial experience going there?
The initial experience for me was surprising, to be honest with you. And the reason I say that is because we had two guys in front of me, bigs, who was expected to play and expected to start. So
Yeah,
we had a really rough year there. I'm not gonna say my record on here because your podcast is growing. I don't want people laughing at me later. But
hey man,
people can do their own homework. We had a rough year that year, but we
yeah,
had two bigs in front of me, and they were supposed to be the starters. But things were going on with them, and they end up not playing as well as they should have. So I end up taking over one of the roles in the four or
next man up,
five
next man up.
at all times. So
Yes, sir.
and so this is the first time in my life. Like I said, I grew up and always been a hustle guy. I was a 10 and 10 guy.
Yeah,
So we were a struggling team. Like nobody really was consistently leading us in scoring. And then
yeah,
before you know it, like I took off and it became me. So now I'm consistently scoring 20. I'm scoring 16. Like I'm getting double doubles. I'm dunking on people. I'm blocking shots. I'm literally doing everything.
yes,
Especially in the
sir.
struggling system. Like I literally was the only face of that
Yeah,
system within that year. And we had a terrible year, but I still was able to be named first team all conference in a year. And
yes,
that
sir.
was extremely surprising, which I kind of
Yes,
figured I
sir.
would be named second team based off the record, but I
Yeah,
made such an impact on the court, and the coaches seen the bright spot because this is a coach's vote, it's not a player's vote. And the
yeah.
coaches seen the bright spots of me as an individual, so I was able to be named first team. So to answer your question, man, it kind of struck like lightning, and I just stayed consistent with it.
So that was your first year, right?
That was my first year at the 4 year, but that was my
Yeah, yeah,
second
yeah.
year. Okay.
No, yeah. So did you have like older guys on the team, or was it like a younger team?
We had a mix of both. So our best player of the year, he was an older guy. He ended up hurting his Achilles, so
Yeah,
he was in and out of the lineup. We had a JUCO transfer, a little older, and we had it was about a 50-50 split of a few older guys, and then everybody else pretty much the same age.
yeah. But did the older guys feel like some type of way of, you being younger coming in and taking over the program?
One of them is my good friend. We have conversations all the time. Shout out to D Hicks, man. I gotta say that
Yeah,
because I told D Hicks, and I'll say it with you, if I'll be honest. I remember we had a first team meeting, and coach was introducing everybody to the team, and he got to D Hicks, and he like, yeah, D Hicks, he shouldn't even be here right now. He should be a D1 player. And I'm looking at him, and in my mind, I'm like, man, he not like that. I'm low key hating. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm hating.
yo,
This is my good friend. So when he hears this, he's gonna laugh. But we had this conversation. I'm hating. To be honest with you,
yeah,
I'm like, man, I'm like, he's not like that. And then we got on the court, and he was like that. I said, okay, like, okay, this is actually his team. But we also
yeah,
had the conversation. He like, man, I was hurt that year, and he like, man, I can't lie, man. I was mad at you because man, it was supposed to be my team, supposed to be my year, and I got it. It was supposed to be his year, but
yeah.
unfortunately, things happened for him that he couldn't control, and like you said earlier, it's next man up. So,
Yes,
but
sir.
all the older guys did a great job of cheering each other on for the most part. To be honest,
Yeah,
even though he was envious in the sense of he wasn't healthy, but he still
yeah,
always had my back. That's why we're so good friends to this day. You know.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yo, that's the tough part about sports, because you can't really
Yeah.
control injuries. Did you feel like you had that, like, was there a one game that was like a breakthrough game, or you was just like coming straight out the door, you was like taking over?
Um, the one that kind of stands out in my mind the most is a kind of a funny story. So I had my first career triple double. We played
Yeah, yes, sir.
we played dang, OBU, Oklahoma Baptist.
Yeah,
I hope I'm not wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. And
yeah,
so we played against them, and man, they were pressing us the whole game, and like literally about time every time we got the ball, we got blown out this game, by the way. But
damn.
every time we got the ball over half court, it seemed like I was scoring the ball. And the
Yeah,
funny part of the story, like when I say my triple double, I had 31 points, I had 11
Yes,
rebounds, but
sir.
I had 11 turnovers. So
Yo,
so so I didn't have the pretty triple double. I had the ugly triple
yeah.
double. Yeah, but it was
Hey,
at the time I wasn't really able to really put it down at pressing us. I'm trying to get the ball out of my hand. All I know is I'm throwing it away, the ball going out of bounds. Like it was ugly.
yeah,
But I just know that the reason the game stands out so much to me is because one of the 11 turnovers, but also it was how consistently I was able to score the ball and how the
yeah,
offense really just coming through me. We needed a
yeah,
bucket. I got the ball. Like every time, like we got a shot up, I'm getting the offense rebound. I'm putting it back. So I'm creating consistent things. And then it's kind of like for the first time, truly one of the first time in my life was like, okay, you always been a hard worker, but now you can score
yeah.
too. So now the
Yes,
two
sir.
things are intertwined, you know?
Yeah. So, did you feel like that carried over like the rest of the years he was there, or did you get like better, or were you like,
For the most part, yeah. The only thing I had I didn't have my greatest junior year. I started off really good, but that was a mistake I made on my behalf. But
yeah,
also I say this to say this advice for everybody listening. Never
yes, sir,
dim your
yes,
life.
sir.
Never dim your life for the next man. And what I mean by
Yeah,
that is, oh, we had a team that was supposed to be really good, and I started out playing really, really well. And so instead of me keeping my pace, how I was playing, I was thinking like, okay, I can take a step back and let guys pick up the void. And so
yeah,
me trying to make myself do less to like let guys do more, my game started to suffer some. And so,
yeah,
like I said, I just say the advice again, man. Never dim your life for the next man. Like
yes,
it's
sir,
multiple ways for multiple guys to be great within one team, you know.
yes, sir.
And so my junior year was like I didn't have a bad year, but I didn't have as a productive year as I should have had.
Yeah,
Senior going into my senior year, I broke my wrist playing basketball over that
yeah,
summer. Yeah, so I was playing in a local men's league. I was dribbling the ball up the court. I tried to stop. I slipped and I tried to catch myself and I guess my wrist just bent back too far. So nothing looked out of the sort. It swelled up a little bit, but it wasn't anything too crazy. So I set out for like maybe a week or two. I taped my wrist. I'm putting icy hot all over my wrist, thinking icy hot gonna do something for me. So I set out. I went back to the same rate now to play in the same
yeah,
men's league. Like 2 weeks later, I get a breakaway, and I'm telling myself I'm not gonna dunk this day because I didn't want to take a chance of hurting myself. A
yeah,
guy tried to chase me down. He clipped my foot, and then I went down again. I put my hand down naturally. Now my wrist is killing me, like it's bothering me. So my mom
yeah.
finally convinced me to go to the hospital. Went to the hospital. They said I got two broken bones. It required two surgeries.
Damn.
Yeah, it required two surgeries. I had the first surgery over the summer, and I was able to come back in time for the season. I had a great preseason. We played University of San Antonio. We played University of Texas El Paso. We played Bremerton
Yeah.
Young University, BYU, and I'm
And
having
this is
they have
D1, right?
yeah these all Division 1
Yes,
schools,
sir.
and this time they had Brandon Davies there too, and he was an NBA prospect,
Yeah.
and he had a really good game, of course, but I had a really good game also, and he's against
Yes,
Division 1
sir.
schools. So I'm rolling to the season, feeling my best. We also had like a really good team that could potentially won conference
Yeah.
playing our first real game of the season. I'm having another good game. I go up for a pump fake. The guy bites on the pump fake, and he comes down and hit my wrist directly on my wrist.
Damn.
So yeah, so now so I'm aching the whole night. I couldn't sleep. So I called my coach like first thing the next day. No, that's a lie. I called my coach that night because it was aching me. I said, "Hey, coach, how would y'all feel if I redshirt?" And he like,
Yeah.
stop playing with us. Like he didn't want to hear like stop joking. I said, no, coach, like
Yeah.
my wrist is killing me. I don't know if I'm gonna last a whole season with this
Yeah.
broken bone in my hand still. So he like, okay, let me call Coach Greenwood, have a conversation about it, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. We spoke about it the next day. We realized it was the best decision for me just go ahead and redshirt and have that second surgery.
Yeah.
So I had to sit out my whole senior year. And then the next year I'm going into my redshirt senior year. And then that's when I also had another great year and I was also named first team all conference again. So
Yes, sir.
out of my 4 years at well 3.5 years at no 3 years at the Division 2 school, I got two first team all conferences. So
So now going into like, your first pro year
mhm.
and just coming out of college, like, did you time with the agency straight away, or did you wait or like what was the process just coming out of college, then going pro?
So for me, I didn't come directly out of college. I actually sat out a year.
Yeah,
And the reason I sat out a year because I didn't know anybody that played overseas basketball in front of me. So I didn't know what to expect from agents or also offers, you know. So
yeah,
I'm thinking like everybody's supposed to make a bankroll, you know. Well, not necessarily a bankroll, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but I'm thinking I was
yeah,
supposed to be offered a little bit more than what I was getting presented. And I was like,
yeah,
nah, man, I'm worth more than that, which I still believe I am worth more, or I was at least worth more.
yeah.
But
Of
it's
course,
like
of course.
at the end of the day, you got to go
Start
present
somewhere.
yourself. Yeah, you got to start somewhere. That's perfect way to say. You got to
Yeah,
start somewhere. And so when
yeah,
you
of
don't
course.
know what you don't know, you don't know. So
Yeah,
I ended up sitting out my first year. I had a job at a furniture company, and then
yeah,
something kind of sparked my mind. Like I never wanted to be a woulda, shoulda, coulda person. You know, I didn't want to
yeah,
be like I'm finna be 35 now. I didn't want to be 35 and then be thinking
yeah.
back on like what I could have done. You know.
Of course.
So I just took an opportunity. So it was second regionally in Germany, which I know you're familiar. That's an extremely small league. So
Yeah.
and at the time
Especially
I'm
for American those. Like
yes.
I ain't never heard of American going that to a league that low.
Yeah, and it was crazy. I was there, man. Like my agent,
Yeah,
the same agent that wanted me out of college that was presenting me with these opportunities, I reached back out to him and he was like, he kind of hit me with the thought of like, he's like, hey man, you're a Division II guy, you set out for a year. Like, I don't know how many
yeah,
offers I can get you, but like I'll find you something. And I'll like, okay, cool, man.
yeah,
I'll just take whatever you get because I just wanted a
yeah.
chance to start
Of
somewhere
course.
and present myself because I knew if people saw me, they'll invest in me. And
Yeah.
so that's kind of how it went. I took a chance on this agent, and he got me a second Regionalliga, and I was on my way to Germany.
Wait, are you still with that same agent before I say anything crazy?
No, 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 no. You can say whatever you want to.
Nah, cause I feel
Say,
like
yeah.
like even before this, I watched some of your like you in college and stuff. I feel like
Yeah.
somebody, even though you sat out a year, like somebody with try athleticism, there's nowhere
hmm
you're going to second rate. Like that's misrepresentation.
To the highest level. And then
Of course.
also, so I said, you don't know what you don't know. So
Yeah.
I knew, of course, I wasn't at the EuroLeague level, but I didn't know how far down I was either.
Yeah.
So I remember I had a game and so one of my teammates, his friend came up to me after the game and she like, what did she say to me? She was like, She's like, she's like, she's like, well, like, what is your agent doing? And I like, what do
Yeah.
you mean? And she's like, you're too good for this league. And then
Of
I
course.
try to I try to kind of justify that, and which I knew I was way too good for that league. Because if you watch some of them videos, especially when I was in my mid 20s, I'm jumping over everybody, I'm flying everywhere,
Yeah.
I'm dunking on everybody. But it's like I
Yeah.
knew that, but I'm trying to justify. Oh man, he's just trying to, I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But like you said, there is no way I should have been in that league. Like no
Yeah.
way.
So wait, but how long was you with that agent, and how long did you play the full year there, or did you end up leaving mid-season?
Yeah, so I was there the full year. I was there the full year. I did 10 months straight, no flight home for Christmas or anything, making 500 euros a month. Like no money. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, just like struggling to eat sometimes, man. Like
Yeah.
it was a tough year. But yeah, I was with him that full first year, and that second year, man, he coming out, he sold me this big dream. He made this big post about me, like, man, Ural went to Germany. He won 2 championships. He did this, did that. So now we're looking for these different offers. So it was like a beautiful letter. I'm inspired by it. So I'm thinking when the
Yeah.
summer comes around, like I'm gonna start
Yeah.
getting all these like different offers. Just not Euro League still, but just somewhere to
Yeah.
build myself. Steps. You got to walk up
Yeah. Of
steps.
course. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So did I got home maybe late April, early May. So
Yeah.
now May's gone by, June's gone by, August done went by. I'm like, what are we doing? And then even the
Yeah.
fact that like at the time, me and my agent didn't even have each other's phone number. We used to just talk through
What?
we didn't even have each other's phone number. We just used to talk through
Yeah.
Facebook Messenger. We was consistent.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing guys I knew I was better than from
Yeah.
college, and then also they get professional opportunities. So I'm called them one day. I'm like, hey man, what's going on? I'm like, I see guys signing. Like, why haven't you brought me anything? Like nothing. He hasn't brought me anything to the table. I'm like, why
Yeah.
haven't you why haven't you brought me anything? And he was like, man, I know you're getting a little antsy, but just don't worry, man. I got things working out for you. Things are gonna come. So August went by. We're in mid-September, so I'm with my girlfriend. I'm with my girlfriend at the time, who's now my wife,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
with her, and I'm telling about how I'm probably finna give up on the dream. Like I'm not getting anything. And she was like, how about you just reach out to people? And I was like, man, I know these agents on Facebook. A couple guys reached out to me in the past. She's like, why don't you just reach out to them and just what's the worst that can happen? So
Yes,
I
sir.
pretty much like started like copy and pasting the same message, same message. And finally,
Yeah.
one guy I took a chance on, and he scared me because not scaring me in that sense, because he reached out to me when I was in college, but his profile picture was, I don't know if you remember this, but his profile picture was of Kevin Durant dunking over Brandon Hayward. Like, I don't know if you remember, do you remember that play when it
No,
happened?
I seen that. I seen that. I seen that.
Okay. And that was his profile picture. So I'm like, I don't even know if this guy's real. But now
No.
as a seasoned veteran, I know I could have asked him his name. I could have asked his fever license number. You know, I could have asked certain
Yeah.
things like that to get his verification. But you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. Of course. Of course.
Yeah, so I reached out to him. He messaged me back. He's like, man, I don't know if I really can get you anything, but he's like, man, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
So Reykjavik, Valorant in Iceland had a player. They just fired him. He was like, man, it's a team in Iceland. They can offer you this. This is the situation. I'm like, man, sign me up, man. I can fly out tomorrow. He's like, okay,
Yes,
cool. I'm gonna
sir.
work. I'm gonna work out the deal, and that's how I really got my true start when first division in Iceland with Valor.
Yeah. So what was that? Just the experience of living in Iceland? Cause I've never been there, but I've heard like it's a I mean, obviously it's a beautiful place to be, but like it's different from the States.
Oh, for sure. Expensive. First off, it's extremely expensive. But
Yeah.
but I love Iceland. Just dealing with the different in currency. Because having euros is pretty much the same as having a dollar. Of course, euros is worth more,
Yeah.
but when you see a €5, you look at it
No,
like a
but it's
five.
close. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
close.
you look at it like a $5 bill versus when you see kroners, it's
Yeah.
like, what is this? Or you're in a shop and it says 500. When you hit 500, you think, man, that's crazy expensive. I can't afford that. Yeah, so I'm in stores, I'm paying for things, and they were like, yeah, it's gonna
Yeah.
be 1,200. I said 1,200. I don't know if I can pay for this. And then I count my money, and I'm like, oh, I got it. But it's
Yeah.
that, but Iceland was a beautiful place, man. I love the people, natural country. Like I had some of my best years there. I met some of the greatest people who I still have long lasting friendships with. So I literally have no complaints about Iceland.
So were you there only for 1 year, or like were you there for like a multiple
Yeah.
years?
So I was there for multiple years. So I was with Valor in the first division. We went to the
Yeah.
playoffs. I helped them move up to the Domino's League at the time. It's Subway League now, but I helped them move up to
Yeah.
the top league. They brought me back in for a second season, and this when I had my best statistical year. This when I averaged almost 24 points, almost
Yeah.
14 rebounds, and like three
Yes,
blocks a
sir.
game. And I was named first player, first team, first team. Uh, I was named best import. I was named center of the year. I was named defensive player of
Yes,
the year.
sir.
So, so now, like I said, I'm really starting to build the reputation of who I am. And then also the
Yeah.
year before, previously, I didn't say this. So I played with them in the first division and we were playing the cup games. So in
Yeah.
Iceland at the time, I'm not sure how it is now. At the time, if you played in the first division, you're never supposed to beat a team in the Domino's League. Never. So
Yeah.
we played two, maybe three teams out of Domino's League and beat them in the cup to go to the cup final four. So
Yes, sir.
now we getting to play in the national stadium. So now I'm making my mark to help lead a team to this kind of platform. Next year, I'm averaging 24 points. I'm named defensive player of the year. I'm getting all these marks. And then that following
Yes,
year, I
sir.
also signed back to Iceland, but I signed to a team called Tindastóll, which is in the same league, but just in a different part of the country. So I was
Yeah.
there 3 years straight.
So now, obviously, Iceland, the league you was in is like higher competition than the
Hmm.
league you played in Germany.
For
But
sure.
like, what was like the initial like experience like playing that level of competition?
For me, the initial experience was so funny thing is when I was in Germany, it was like the level was so low that my team was pretty balanced against the competition. So I didn't
Yeah.
have to I was dominant, but I didn't have to do everything. Iceland, my
Yeah.
first year especially, like I had talks to my coach, and he was like, no, we expect these different things of you. We need you to shoot the ball more, we need you to dribble the ball more. and just
Yeah,
and pass the ball. I'm like, damn, like normally this is like three different guys to do this. I'm not used to having to do all of these things.
yeah,
So that kind of like molded me differently, which still helped my game to this day. So now like I can get a rebound, I can bring the ball up the court. Like if I take 20 shots one game, I just take 20 shots. Like it was no risk or reward for the amount of
yeah,
shots I do take. But if I don't take these shots, I'm getting in trouble. So
yeah,
now it's like, okay, like my my offensive prowess is expected way more than what I'm used to. I can score the ball, yeah, but like normally I'm used to like shooting maybe 12, 13 shots. But now I'm shooting 16 to 20 shots every game. And everybody's fine with it. So I'm fine with it
yeah.
too. Everybody's fine
Of
with
course.
it. Yeah.
So I when you were playing Iceland, did you have like other Americans on your team,
Yeah,
or was it
so
just you?
technically no, because he was American, but his mom was Icelandic, so he played on an Icelandic passport. So
Yeah,
technically, I was the only American on the team that I was on, but I had a teammate named Austin Bracy, and he's American from California, but like I said, he played on a Icelandic passport.
yeah,
So it really was just me for the first 3 years I was there. Yeah, first year it was just me, second year was me, third year I had one more American for a little bit. So really 3
yeah.
years it was just me in Iceland, just the only American.
So what was that like? Like obviously when you're in practice, you're with the teammates and
Mhm.
games, but other than that, like outside of practice, like were you by yourself or were you like what was you doing
So my
being the only
first year,
American?
yeah, first year, I pretty much was by myself. I was just so
Yeah,
I was able to eat downtown for free at a place called Pricket. So Pricket was a restaurant by day, club by night on the weekends. So
yeah,
I would go eat there for free. So at first I was a little bit uncomfortable because a lot of us we aren't really used to doing things by ourselves. As much
of
as we
course.
think we're independent, we're used to somebody always being around us, whether it's somebody
Yeah,
speaks the same language as us or we have a significant other attached to us.
yeah,
So now I'm going to eat by myself. I'm going to be adventurous by myself. And then it got to a point I said, man, I'm tired of staying in the house on Friday and Saturday nights. I said, man, I'm just going to go out by myself and just see what happens. So
yeah,
now I started going out to the nightclubs by myself too. So I pretty much, the first year I did everything by myself.
yeah.
Second year, I got to big this guy, Jeremy Smith, man. Me and him are still good friends to this day. He
Yes,
came, he
sir.
played for Breadbit, Division 1, and I was playing in Valor in the top league. And
Yeah,
I'm from West Monroe, Louisiana. He's from New Orleans, Louisiana,
yeah,
and we just kind of met at a women's basketball game. We sparked a conversation, and I can tell the way he talk, he tell the way I talk. I'm like, okay, we from the same state because we speak the same
yeah,
same. Yeah, and
yeah,
so that year I was able to form we were able to form a group of friends around us as far as Americans go. So we would be going
yeah,
out like on the weekends anywhere from 5 to 12 deep like on the weekends, just nothing but but Americans. So that second year was probably like the most fun I had on and off the court. Because on the court is my best statistical year, but off the court
yeah.
I was able to meet some friends that I'm still friends with to this day.
Yes, sir. So, but what was it like being away from your family for like 10 years, 10 months at the time?
Germany was extremely hard to be honest with you. Germany almost broke me, if I'm being honest with you, because the level was so low, which I knew.
Yeah,
So I'm a big proponent of believing in know what you sign up for. And
of
I knew
course.
what I signed up for, but I didn't know certain things until I experienced it. So my first, what is it called? My first like reality check kind of thing, was when I got to Germany. I got on my flight, which I'm excited to be on my way to Germany.
Yeah,
I landed, they picked me up from the airport as well as our two women players. My first culture
yeah,
shock. And I got to my room. We ate breakfast as a team. I went and took a nap, and I woke up and I just sat on the
yeah,
edge of my bed like, damn, bro, you're in Germany. You you finna be here for 10 months. Like, man, so that was like the first culture shock that got me. But what really
yeah,
almost broke me was it was the first time in my life where I was truly alone for the first time. Like I wasn't being at such a low level, we didn't practice consistently. So we would practice
yeah,
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and of course we have games. But Tuesday, Thursday, we didn't have practice at all. I would try to work out sometimes. We couldn't get in the gym. Though our
yeah,
weight room was like 20 minutes away driving, so I didn't have a car. So
damn,
Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm pretty much just in my apartment all day with nobody to talk to, just me and Netflix. So I started dealing with
yeah,
depression a little bit. And So I'm talking to my coach. I'm not too proud to say this part of the story because I done told so many people, and I also want people to hear this and
Yeah.
let them know like whatever they
Not,
experience, they're not alone going through it.
yeah.
So I'm starting to deal with depression because I'm calling my family back home. This is before I knew how to FaceTime properly or go through
Yeah.
WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger. I'm blowing on my cell phone bill. Like my cell phone bill should be $100. My cell phone bill is almost $200 a month because I just want to
Damn.
talk to people. I just want to hear a voice. So it should be a 5 minute conversation. I'm keeping them on the phone for 30 minutes. I'm not telling
Yeah.
them why, but I just need to talk to somebody.
Yeah.
So we had a practice one time. And my coach like, so what are you out here doing? Like, what do you do for fun? I was like, man, I kind of don't do anything, man. I'm just in my room, and I felt myself about to start crying in front of him. I could feel the tears coming, and I kind of
Yeah.
walked off, and I went to the bathroom. And I looked at myself in the mirror, and I said, man, don't you ever cry in front of nobody again.
Of
But
course.
it,
Can't do
but
that.
it, nah, I can't do it at all. But it wasn't. It was a fact of like, man, I was hurting, because like
Yeah, of
I, I,
course.
I,
Now I feel. I
I don't,
feel.
I don't have any money. I can't. The thing I came here for, I can't even do it on a consistent basis because we don't have
Yeah.
unlimited gym time. And then also, like I said, I'm alone all the time.
Yeah.
But look, for me, what broke me was I'll actually show you so you can see this.
Yeah.
So what actually helped me was I read this book. So
Yeah.
I'm more of a reader now, but I wasn't the biggest reader at the time. So it's called David's Spiritual Secret, and
Yeah.
my college coach gave it to me as I graduated as a graduation gift. And it's
Yeah.
one chapter. And I actually haven't opened this book in a long time, but it's just always on my mind. But it's one chapter in this book, and I'm trying to see. Actually, I should have. I got to read through all of them to see. But it's one book about how David was fleeing away from King Solomon, and it was talking about how he was alone in the cave, he was by himself, and he was facing difficulty.
Yeah.
And it was just talking about how he overcame being alone. And then after
Yeah.
I was reading the book, but after I read that chapter, like everything became smooth for me. It just kind of helped me deal with just the fact of embracing loneliness. And then
Yeah.
from that point on, everything got easier and easier for me. So it's still hard sometimes because you always miss your family
Yeah.
and friends being gone for so long. You miss certain events and you miss that
Yeah.
quality time. But I know what I signed up for, and I'm able
Of
to
course.
embrace the journey more so and more because, like I said, I read this book and that one chapter in particular really
Yeah.
helped me see things differently.
Yeah. But now that you have been playing for, 9 years,
hmm
looking back at it, do you feel like, the sacrifices obviously you had to make, like, was it worth it? Because now obviously you get to live out your dream. So
Yeah, a
nine
thousand
years
percent.
later.
Thousand
Yeah.
percent worth, 1,000% worth it. Because like honestly speaking, I laugh at it because I don't know how I made it through that year. I do not know how I made
Yeah.
it through the year. I don't think if I had to do it again, I don't know if I could do it again because like I don't know how I did it, but the sacrifice was worth it because it helped me grow as a person.
Yeah.
Because some things you don't know who you can be until you deal with hardship.
Of course. So then going to Iceland and being there for 3 years, were you signed? Did you straight away sign a 3-year contract, or was it like 1 year at a time?
It was 1 year at a time. So I did Valor Division One, and I was hoping
Oh
to
yeah,
grow
yeah, yeah,
some. I was hoping to grow somewhere bigger, but I didn't really have
yeah,
any true offers. I had some potential offers, but I was like, okay, like for instance, I had like Finnish leagues potentially looking at me, but I'm like, Finland to me and Iceland is kind of similar. Finland is better
yeah,
in my opinion. At least it was because Iceland has grown a lot. But I'm like, if I'm getting Finland and I also have Iceland, I'll rather just stay in a comfortable environment. So I
yeah,
signed back to Valor again, and then that next year it was kind of the same situation where I was looking for a new club. And this is when I was having a lot of potential, a lot of potential. Honestly, I should have left Iceland, but Tennis at the time presented me with a really good contract, and so I took
yeah.
a chance on going to Tennis and staying in Iceland. So I did every year was a 1 year contract.
So after Iceland, where did you end up going after your third year in Iceland?
So I ended up going to France. I went to France. I played NM1.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, I ended up getting fired in NM1. I not coaches loved me. The president wasn't the biggest fan of mine. He kind of expected something more,
yeah,
but that's what happens sometimes when people they cut the check but don't understand the game. But hey,
Yeah,
That is what it is. But so then I end up going back to Iceland again for a different team, and
yeah,
this is starting in Reykjavik again. But this was
yeah.
also COVID, so we didn't get to finish that season.
So, going back to what you said about the team president and just in general, how do you feel about, like I feel there's too many coaches
Hmm.
today, especially that never really played basketball,
Hmm.
and just like team owners, coaches.
Yeah.
How do you feel about just people that haven't really never been a player, but then are in a position to, make choices for players without ever having their own experience?
I I'm not necessarily the biggest fan. I don't want to say guys shouldn't pursue those opportunities, because
Yeah,
you do have certain guys, like if I'm not mistaken, Greg Popovich didn't necessarily play at
yeah,
a high level, but obviously he's one of the greatest coaches. So
of
it
course.
pans out for some people, but I'm a bigger proponent of guys who actually played the game, because you know how to
Yeah,
have those certain conversations with players, whether it's we need you to get your shit together, or it's like, hey, these are what we expect from you, or like, man, you're doing a great job out here. And then
yeah,
also you understand how to be more adaptable on the fly, because also you have certain guys who just cut the checks, and they think their voice should matter more because they're paying. It's like, okay, you are paying, but you don't necessarily understand all the intricacies of the game.
yeah. So wait, but how long did you end up being there? Like looking at months
France,
in France? Yeah, in France.
I was there. I got there mid-August, so I was there till December. So I was there, was that 5 months, 6 months?
So what was that experience like?
I ain't gonna lie, I love France. France is some of the best competition I played against, because in the
Yeah,
French league, you don't have to necessarily rely on the American or the import to be your best offensive player. They have a lot of French guys that can easily lead any team within anything offensively or defensively. And then
yeah,
this is some of the biggest guys I played against, like in some of the leagues like Iceland or even Finland to a certain degree. You play against like 6'8" bigs. You might play against 6'6" bigs like my height. That's fives.
yeah,
Versus France, you're gonna play against 7 foot guys, legit 7 foot guys.
yeah,
And like it's different. Like now you can't just run to the rim and dunk on them. Now you got to figure out how to be more finesse and be more skilled. So I feel like friends help me polish my game and also see the game in a different light.
I feel like, that France is it gotta be the most athletic, like basketball wise, league
Mm.
in Europe, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So what was, like just comparing to Iceland, what was like the biggest difference you noticed about
As
the
far
competition?
I like guys were tall, like you have guys my height dribbling the ball, going back to the Juco thing. Now I understand the difference.
Yeah,
Now you got guys 6'7" who's wings, versus Iceland, you got guys 6'7" who's 5 men.
yeah,
You got guys who's French that could be a leading scorer. You got guys on French, like if you try to just tiptoe to the rim, they're gonna block your shot at the rim. They're gonna be physical with you. Like I remember one
yeah,
practice we had a guy named Bam. Bam was like 6'8", maybe 6'9", but Bam was yoked. He was probably like maybe
yeah,
kilos. He was probably like maybe 120. So but he was solid. Yeah, he was solid.
yeah,
So I mean, one play I went to the rim thinking I had an easy bucket, and he knocked me out the air.
yeah,
Like nothing dirty. Yeah, he didn't do anything dirty, but it's like, hey, this is a different league. Like
yeah,
like you're not getting these easy baskets.
yeah, of
So
course.
like, and then also that's just my teammates. So I'm also playing against other BAMs on other teams. So
Yeah,
just being around other guys who's bigger than you, consistently bigger than you, and like you got to see more skill, I would say. So
yeah,
I would say France, even at NM1 level, was probably like some of the best competition I played against.
of course. So after that, did you end up, finishing the season in Iceland and then you left or you stayed even there after for another season?
So Iceland, like I said, it got called off because of COVID. We had just won a
Oh
cup
yeah, yeah,
championship.
facts,
Yeah,
facts.
yeah, we won a cup championship, and then also we were the number one team. We had one game left to be
Yeah,
the regular season champions, and then COVID called off our last game, so that kind of hurt. Next year I set out because I tried to retire. I got a daughter,
yeah,
so I want to spend a little bit more time with my daughter, and then
of
also
course.
because of COVID, everybody was offering less money for contracts. So it was
Yeah,
like I worked hard. I don't want to take less money. So it was a combination. Me want to spend time with my daughter. Then also I didn't want to take less money. So I set out a year. I started working in Enterprise, the car rental service. You guys got it in
yeah.
Helsinki. I'm not sure what part of Finland are you in?
Helsinki, I'm in the capital.
Oh, okay, okay, cool. So I know you should know what
Yeah,
Enterprise is going through the
yeah,
airport. Yeah, so
yeah, yeah, yeah,
I was working at Enterprise. It was actually going pretty well. I was like traveling a lot. I was enjoying it. But man, I went and played basketball one time, and it was a guy I used to kill. I used to kill, dominate. I'm at the
yeah.
gym, my legs are heavy. I got a breakaway dunk. I missed it. I hear people laughing at me. And then I'm trying to score on him, and he calling for double teams. And then I'm like, how you talking shit, but you calling for double teams? And
That's
then,
wild.
yeah, like that doesn't work. Then he might
Yeah, you
score,
can't do
get a
that.
shot on me. And then
Yeah,
what really got me was I made a move to my left and I tried to do a pull up. He blocked my
yeah,
shot, my pull up. He
damn.
blocked it. And when I say I couldn't sleep for like weeks thinking about this one play, I could not.
No, I feel you. I feel you.
I was to this day, I still feel it, but I was so mad,
Yeah,
so mad. And I told myself, I said, if you still have that same drive and the same anger, like you're not done playing. So, and that's when I reached out to my current agent. He got me a job right there with you. So that's when I first came to
yeah.
Finland with KTP.
So, what was the experience touching down in Finland? Cause, like, I've been to the States,
Hmm.
and I feel like it's totally different. Even I
Hmm.
feel like other countries in Europe might be even closer, like
Yeah,
culture-wise, to the States. But I feel like Finland is like completely different, just from the people to the like
yeah,
everything. So,
yeah.
what was that like?
Now, Finland was definitely completely different, especially being in Coca, 'cause we didn't really have anything to do. So we kind of relied on each
Yeah,
other. This was like the first real team I was on where I had multiple Americans. So
yeah,
now I'm in the locker room. I can tell certain jokes, guys get it. They talk
yeah,
certain, yeah. So now it's like we can have more heart to heart conversation because now
yeah,
we might not necessarily be from the same city, but we're from the same place. So like I
yeah,
was able to rely on each other, but like it was a place you had to adjust to. It was cold, of course, it was dark there during the winter
yeah.
months, but I got a chance to see the Northern Lights again, so that was dope for me. But
Yes,
it was a
sir.
real adaptment. But as far as like the life of Finland, it wasn't necessarily the greatest life for me because
Yeah,
outside of the court. But basketball, like I say I met some good people, and then basketball went smooth for me.
yeah. So I feel like in Finland we get like a lot of Americans over here.
Mm.
So you obviously said you noticed that, but like competition wise, was it different than Iceland?
Yeah, I think I would give, like I said, now Iceland a little bit different, but for me, I would definitely give my nod to the Finnish league because also for that
Yeah,
same thing, it's kind of as France, you guys have some not as big as France bigs, but you guys have some pretty big bigs who like a
yeah,
true like back to the basket and like forces on the inside. Then also you guys have a lot of good Americans that come in there. So now it's like,
yeah,
okay, you got to bring your best A game every game. Then also it's a lot of good Finnish players. It's a lot of good Finnish players that you have to respect like as far as that
of
shooting
course,
ability, as far as getting downhill. So Finland has a
of
good
course.
variety of basketball. And then you guys are one thing about Finland, I would say, is you guys are taller than Icelandic players for the most part.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so like now you have like even size matchups in every position, like not only for the Americans but also for the Finnish players that you're playing against.
Yeah. But yo, sidetrack question. Do you feel
Uh-huh.
like you spend a lot of time in like North Europe?
Hmm.
Have you ever like encountered any racism? Because I know like here basketball wise, a lot of the crowd are like
Hmm.
older people. So
Yeah.
they might not necessarily like but
Yeah.
did
Me personally, no, I didn't experience anything like inherently racist, like as far as like,
yeah,
okay, these people like obviously don't want us here. So like for me,
yeah,
no, like of course, like you're some place you might get a look, but sometimes the look might not always be because they're racist, don't want you there. It might just be like, okay, we never seen him before, or he stands out.
yeah,
But of course, sometimes we would get a look, but I don't think I didn't have any bad experience as far as being in Finland.
that's dope. But like being in Kotka, I feel like in Finland in general, like
Hmm.
going out, there's a lot of bars, but there's not like other than that, there's not a lot to do. So, were you
Yeah.
going out on weekends or were you just like in the crib?
Mostly in the crib. Like with the few chances we had, we came to Helsinki and went out a couple times. But mostly
Yeah,
was we had multiple American women on the women's team, but
yeah,
then we also had the men. So we were all kind of meet up and just play games in the house. So we'll play a lot of Phase 10, we'll play some Uno, we'll play things like that, or we'll just like be around each other vibing. So like even one of my
yeah, yeah,
homegirls, Z, which is really cool. I met her in Finland, so like she's a really good friend of mine to this
Yes,
day, and
sir.
I met her out there, and to this day we got a great relationship. Her and her girlfriend I'm not gonna say all that, but
Nah, it's
that's
good.
her.
It's
Now
cool. It's
it,
cool.
it wasn't anything
It's
too
cool.
personal, but that's her business. But like
Yeah,
she's a
yeah.
great friend. She's a
Okay.
great friend of mine, and like I said,
Yeah.
we would just mainly hang out inside, you know.
So after that, I know you played a bunch of places, but what place would you say like, or what country was like your favorite country to play in?
Like as far as basketball wise, though, like what do you mean?
No, okay, let's put it like this. Let's say favorite country for like basketball wise, and then like favorite country just to be in.
I would say favorite country to play was France. Like even though things happened where I got fired, but just like I said, the level of
Yeah.
competition for me was like, man, it was so dope. And like I said,
Yes, sir.
you had to be ready every night. Like you had to be focused on your scouting reports because so many guys could do so many things well, and the talent
Yeah.
level was so good. And then also just how many teams they have in every level. So I would say France as far as basketball wise. As far as living. I'm kind of torn between the two. I want to say Austria only because we won 3 championships in 1 year. So I kind of
Yeah.
want to give it the nod there. But as far as like the overall experience, I would say by far Iceland because
Yes, sir.
I had my best statistical year there in Iceland. I was there a lot of years, 3.5 years, three straight, and
Yeah.
then coming back to play for starting. I met some great people there, like guys who I'm still friends with to this day. So, and then
Yes,
overall, man,
sir.
it's a beautiful country. I met some beautiful people there. Like that was the only time I had a family member come visit me was actually in Iceland. So the overall Icelandic experience, I would say Iceland.
Yeah, but you said you like you had a daughter and that made you want to quit. But then again, going back, like how's that like? Because I feel like it's a difference being away from your family and then
hmm
being away from like your own kid. So how is that going for a long periods of times without necessarily not seeing your kid?
it was tough, especially in the beginning. I had her going into my third year.
Yeah,
And she's an infant, so like no matter how much we put the phone in her face, she might look at her dad, but she can't have a conversation with me. And now I'm missing certain
yeah,
things. I'm missing when she get her first teeth. I'm missing when she say her first word,
yeah,
when she's crawling, when she's walking. So those first couple years were hard. But as she got older, it still
yeah.
was hard. But at least now with FaceTime and she can speak, we can have these certain conversations, and she understands
Yes,
that I
sir.
miss and I love her. So it got easier, but
Yeah,
it's always still a little difficult.
yeah. So after leaving, how long were you here in Finland?
I was just there 1 season.
Yeah, so after Finland, what was the next step?
So next step, I went to Austria, and that's the
Yeah,
when I was telling you about we ended up winning 3 championships in 1 year. We won the Super Cup, the Cup, and we won the overall championship. But the dope
yeah.
thing about Austria, too, my bad, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say congratulations.
Oh, appreciate it. Yeah. But I was gonna say the dope thing about Austria, we played European competition too. We played Champions League qualifiers, and also we played Euro
Yes,
Cup.
sir.
And then we made history for
And that's big
Austria.
time though. That's big time.
Yes, because they told us also that was the first time in Austrian history that an Austrian team won against competition outside of Austria. So that was huge for us.
Yeah, so go playing international comp. Just in general, what was that like? 'Cause that's higher comp than other places you played. So what was that like?
Man, it was amazing for me because like me coming from a small basketball background as far as like high school and also junior college and Division two, I never
Yeah,
really got those experiences. Like I'll listen to podcasts. Like for instance, I listen to EJ's pod you one you did with him you and EJ, shout out to EJ. And like
appreciate that. Yes, sir. Shout out him.
guys get certain experience to play against high level guys, like whether it's in high school, whether it's AAU, or whatever the case may be. Me coming from a
Yeah,
small background, I never really got a chance to play against any G League or NBA players on the way up. So that was my first real
yeah,
encounter of playing against guys who were once in the NBA who played G League, who's making
yeah,
100,000 euros. So like, and the
yeah.
fact that not only playing against them, but showing like I deserve to be on that same stage as them, it's a different
Yes,
thing too.
sir. So by the way, congratulations on winning again this year. But
Appreciate it.
would you say
Appreciate.
that EMBL or and then Champions League, what would you say was like the best international comp? Like which league was the highest comp you played?
Oh, Euro Cup by far, and it's not even
Yeah,
compared. Because I played Adriatic Cup too, and like we'll get to that point when we talk more about my career. But like I
Yeah,
played against 4 year and played in 4 different European stages, and none of them compare to Euro Cup because you have some of the best teams from the best country with some of the best players playing in that type of level. With a
yeah,
extreme with extremely high, and these teams have extremely high budget, so it's definitely Euro Cup.
of course. So I'm guessing y'all was playing in like packed arenas. So what would you say was your first time like playing in front of a like, cause European crowds are like wild. So what
Yeah.
would you say was like the first experience playing just like at a like in a crowded arena?
I would say my first one, I gotta go back to Iceland because when my
Yeah,
first team in the Division One, when we made it to the Cup Final Four, we played in the
yeah,
National Stadium. So now we got all the fans from both sides and different teams all in this one arena at one time. So now that's my first time like really being on that type of stage where it's like, oh shoot, like it's so many people here. Like, all right,
yeah,
lock in, drown the noise out. Okay, let's go.
yeah,
But as far as I don't really know as far as Euro Cup because I don't know if anybody really had just like the stages were dope. The stages were dope. Like for instance,
yeah,
Antwerp. We also played against not Haifa. My mind went blank. Haifa. We played against Haifa,
yeah,
so that was a dope experience in Israel. We played against Gaziantep. So
yeah.
Gaziantep, I would probably say that stage, yeah, Gaziantep. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
sir.
that's the one because like they had really good crowd there. We getting police escorts. So now it's like, okay, like we EuroLeague NBA, yeah, like it
Yeah,
felt different. Then we got on the stage and like that crowd was really engaged. So I would say Gaziantep, yep.
yes, sir. So how long were you in Austria?
I was there 1 year too. There's a lot of 1 years right now.
Yo, but in general, cause like in America, like in like going comparing it to like the NBA, a lot of guys like when they go to a team, well, not a lot of guys, but like the people we hear about,
Hmm.
they're spending like a long period of time with one team, and
Yeah,
also like in EuroLeague, like the big name players, like they might be like 4 or 5 years with the same club.
for sure.
So what would you feel? What would you feel like is like the hardest part about just being with a new team, like going to a new team often?
Oh, you got to reestablish yourself in every league. That's the hardest part. And then also you don't know if your role is going to be consistent. Like you can have a coach
Yeah,
telling you they want you to come in for this thing, but then they also have other guys coming in for that same thing, which is score the ball ultimately. And
yeah,
you don't know whether you're going to be the main guy that's going to get the shots, or you have to adapt and figure out how to play defense and rebound and find your spots. So I would say that's a
yeah,
hard thing because you don't know the consistency in your role or what it's going to be.
of course. But like being overseas, like outside of basketball, that still gotta be dope because you get to.
Mhm.
I feel like getting to experience new places
Yeah.
is like it might be like outside of basketball. Obviously, it gotta be better than just staying in the same city for like many years.
No, I definitely agree because like even like everything I was full circle with me. So like what I was just telling you
Yeah,
about coming from a small background, I don't really know too many people who have a passport. I didn't really have any true
yeah,
ambitions. I heard you ask EJ this. I don't know if you're gonna ask me or not. You asked EJ, you were like, when did you know that you wanted to play overseas? And for me,
yeah,
I never had ambitions to play overseas. And I'm not saying
yeah,
that to slight the level I'm at or anything, but it's just
yeah.
because like I said, I didn't know anybody with a passport. I didn't know anybody
Of
firsthand
course.
that's done it. So for me, it was just like, okay, let's try to get a scholarship and let's get a
Yeah,
degree. And for me, it was really when I set out that first year and I'm working at a furniture company. Now it's like maybe I should
yeah.
explore going to play overseas. Like I don't want to be done putting on a jersey just yet, you know?
Of course.
So those type of things kind of separate. But as far as like, it's definitely dope because, like you said, you can be in all these different countries. You can get these passport stamps. You get a chance to travel.
Yeah,
You get to get play a chance to walk in these different paths and just seeing like, okay, this is how life feels in this country. They
yeah,
have this. They have good food here. They have good people. They have good restaurants. They
yeah,
have pretty scenery here. All the different things that they had to offer.
yeah. Because like a couple Americans that I've spoken to, like they've all said like going into college, coming out of high school, like it was just like it was NBA or not, like it was
Yeah.
like make or break. But then like coming to Europe, they all felt like it was a great experience.
Mhm.
and I'm guessing like you got the same opinion.
Oh, for sure. Like it's the things that I've experienced in Europe, I wouldn't change for the world. Like I've done some amazing things. I met some amazing people, and my names are gonna ring bells for the rest of my life in certain countries that I
Yes,
made my
sir.
mark in. So
Yes, sir.
man, it's a beautiful opportunity. Like I said, man, I look sometimes like not now as much, but I would literally look at my passport and just look at the different stamps from the different countries I got. Like I literally
Yeah,
have a list in my phone of like all the countries I've been to in Europe, and it's like things I never would thought I would be able to do.
yeah, man. It's crazy like that orange ball can take you around the world, bro.
Now, facts, facts.
Yes, sir. So, what would you say like was the living experience in Austria?
I'm sure it was I'm sure it's quiet, man. It was a beautiful place. I was in Gamunden, like right there by the
Yeah,
water, beautiful mountains, but it was just like it was boring. We didn't have anything to do. So
yeah,
luckily for us, we played so many games with Euro Cup qualifiers. I'm sorry, Champion League qualifiers, Euro Cup, and then also our league. So we didn't really have time to sit down and just be bored enough.
yeah,
But when we had those opportunities, we didn't really have anything around us. Vienna was like 2.5 hours away. We had Salzburg was an hour away. So it's like you might got a 2 days off. You don't feel like spending one of your days driving an hour this place, an hour back, you know?
yeah.
So
Of
like
course.
yeah, so we really didn't have too much of a life. So it was boring. I wasn't the biggest fan of the life I had in Austria, but I was a
Yeah,
fan of the basketball I played there, you know?
yeah. So, what was it like to them now playing multiple games like in a week? And just I don't know if that was your first time, like in
Hmm.
your career, playing like 2 to 3 games in a week, but
Yeah.
what was that in general like?
Man, it was dope because one day you're gonna be in Austria, the next day you might be in Turkey. And then
Yeah,
now you're on these flights riding around. So it was a dope experience. And also like it showed you how you need to focus on the recovery of your body. Not only you, but also
yeah,
your coaches. Some practice might be high tempo, the next practice might be extremely light because now we got a huge game coming up. So just
yeah,
seeing the balance and then also understanding our scouting reports. Because in Austria, no slight to Austria, but you might have a guy on his team that can't dribble with his right hand. But
yeah,
when you play against teams, Antwerp, like these guys do
yeah,
everything. So now like you got to focus on like exactly what their key of their games are. So it showed you how to be adaptable.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yo, now like, what would you say was your like favorite part about getting to playing international competition, to where like you're going multiple places in a season, and
Mhm.
just that experience in general, getting to fly to games and like being in new countries just for one game, like what
Mhm.
was that like?
Man, just seeing some of these countries, how beautiful they are. Just like we were in Norway and I'm just looking around and I'm like, man, this is just a natural, beautiful place.
Yeah,
Just those type of experience. And also being on certain stages, like for instance, we played ENBL this past season, and we talked about the
yeah,
beginning of my career where I played Regionalligas 2, second
yeah.
Regionalliga, but now we playing against Bearberg in the BBL, and I had a
Yeah,
great game. So now it's like I'm
I know, I
showing
know, I know.
so now I'm showing people like, man, no matter what stage you put me on, I can perform, you know?
Yeah,
So it's like those getting those opportunities to show like, man, you might not know who I am, but you need to know who I am.
yeah, bro. I know you put up numbers this year, but like,
Yeah.
what does that feel like going from like being overlooked and then going into now you're playing, international comp, you're playing in these big arenas, you're
Hmm.
going at, at these like big name players or like players who already came in with a big name.
Man,
So
it show
what was that
it
like?
it showed me I deserve to be where I'm at. Or I deserve to be
Yes,
where
sir.
they're at, and I need deserve to be in that same field of play because like I put in this work the same way they probably put in work, and I just haven't had
Yes,
the
sir.
opportunity to come from a small background. Then also having a slower start to my playing career. But it's like
Yeah.
I just know if people see me, they're gonna respect what I do.
Yes, sir. Like, you having to, build up and other people like other Americans might have had like easier coming in and you having to build up. What would be like advice you would give to somebody who started out like you, like starting out in a lower league and being overlooked, dealing with like bullshit agents and like
Hmm.
just that in general to now where you are now?
I would say block out the noise because so many times that people critique what they don't understand.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's like when I told people the beginning path that I was on, it's people that laughed at me talk behind my back. And I was never mad at them because if I was them,
Yeah.
I probably would do the same thing. But it's like you don't see the vision I have. So understand your
Yeah.
vision, trust your process, but then also understand when it's time to move on from places. Never stick one place too long. So
Yeah.
and it's trust your gut, trust your gut, because your
Yes,
gut
sir.
never steers you wrong.
But you say you took a year off after college.
Mhm.
What did your family think about you leaving your job and like to pursue an overseas basketball career?
My mom always been a great supporter. So she didn't always believe in me as
Yeah.
far as my talent goes, and she knows that, and
Yeah.
we laugh about it, but she always supported me no matter what I did.
Yes,
So
sir.
like if she understood that's what I wanted to do with my life, she was all for it. But she just kind of wanted to not necessarily see fruits of labor as far as monetary value. She just was hoping that I could come tell her, like, Mom, this is what I did. She wanted to see the proof in the pudding, like. So now
Yes,
I literally
sir.
got a trophy. I literally have a trophy room in her house. And she sees all the different MVPs, finals MVPs, first
Yes,
team all
sir.
conference that I've done. She's seen these things. And as far as everybody else goes, man, they didn't believe, to be honest with you. I love my family to death, and
Yeah.
it's not me trying to slight my family. They didn't believe, but I don't blame them because my vision isn't their vision, and I wasn't trying to convince them of anything. But now, as they see all the things that I've done, now it's the proof is in the pudding.
Yes, sir. So now going back to like the journey of your career,
Mhm.
where did you end up after having great year in Austria?
So after Austria, I signed to go to Israel in the winning league, so the second league. And
Yeah.
unfortunately for me, the season got called off, so I didn't even get to finish my season there. And so
Yes.
that year I bounced around a lot. So I was in Greece for 2 weeks, just kind of waiting to see what was next. My agent got me
Yeah.
a contract in Kosovo, so I was with Paya, who was playing Euro Cup at the time. So I went to
Yeah.
there and I was on a kind of like a loan deal, and I was there for 2 months. Yeah, 2 months. And I played the local league. I also played Euro Cup, and then I decided to leave because it was just certain things that was going
Yeah.
on in Kosovo that I just didn't like, I didn't want to deal with. And so I went
I
back
know.
to now go
Yeah.
ahead.
No, I finish what you were saying.
Oh, I was just gonna say then after that I went back to Austria and I finished in
Yeah.
Kaffenberg.
Yeah, bro. I know like just the Balkans in general, that's a whole another culture again.
Yeah.
So what was that like? Even though
Off
you were there for like a short time, what was that like?
off the court, I had great experience with the people, man. They're personable people. We had some great experience. So we sit down and we can break bread together. I got
Yeah.
hurt a couple times when I was out there. I even got bit by a dog when I was out there. So,
What the fuck?
like, yeah, bro. So I got bit by a dog when I was out there, man. So like certain things I was
Yeah.
dealing with, man, they were there for me when I need to get to physio, when I need to get to doctors, and for anything, man, they were there. We had some heart to heart
Yeah.
conversations. But as far as the basketball went, man, it was just like some of the things with the fans, man. I just wasn't appreciative of it. They do certain things within their culture that they think is acceptable, and I personally just don't agree with. That's all I can say.
But like
Yeah,
I feel like there might be, some racism going on there. So
yeah.
did you feel any of that?
Now, honestly, I didn't, man. Like I said, I only I only ever really had I feel like one true racist encounter, and it wasn't in Kosovo. But I didn't have anything, man. I didn't have a car there. I had to walk everywhere, so I'm walking down the streets. I didn't really have any true experience. I had people say the N word to me a couple times, but not necessarily in a derogatory sense. They
No,
were
but
trying
what
to
was
be
that like though?
they were trying to be cool, man. I hated it. I didn't like it, man. They were
I
trying to be
feel
cool. They were trying to rap songs and stuff. I'm trying not to cuss on here. And they were trying to
yeah,
rap songs and stuff, and like they were trying to be cool with me. And I'm like, bro, don't say that to me.
yeah, I know.
Come on now. Like, nah, and I nipped in the bud, like, don't say it to me. So they didn't say it to me
Yeah,
to be racist, but they were trying like, I don't
no.
remember what song it was, but they were trying to rap a song and they thought, I guess we could be friends, and it was lame. Yeah,
Yeah, I
it was
feel you,
real.
bro. I feel
Yeah,
like here in Europe, like obviously black people, like in Europe and in the Western world in general, like
yeah,
it isn't a great history, but like
yeah,
here, I feel like because there's less black people, like
mhm,
for some reason, it's like almost more acceptable to like
yeah,
say shit like that.
yeah. Yeah, so nah, but like no true really racist experience. Like I said, they said it to me. Like it was like two
Yeah.
times where they said it to me, different people though, and trying to just be
Yeah.
cool with me. It's like, bro, that's not the way to get my attention to be try to become cool with
Yeah.
me. That ain't all right.
Yeah. Yo, so you've been like overseas for like 9 years,
Hmm.
and I just like this was like a couple week, I think even a couple months ago, there
Yeah,
was like the Americans in Serbia that got into a fight
yeah,
like
yeah.
outside the club. Have you ever had like an altercation with like fans or just people in general being overseas for that long?
Not fans. When I was in Kosovo, somebody threw a coin my way. Like it didn't
That's
land
wild.
directly by me, but you know when somebody's throwing something towards you. So
Yeah,
it was
that's
after the
crazy.
game was over, and I was kind of still on the court. This is literally I think this was my first game. It was my first game, and we ended up beating
Yeah,
Pristina. And I'm at the game. I'm on the sideline. I'm talking to someone, and I hear something kind of land in my direction. So I had that experience, and other than that, no, like of course, like you have misunderstandings. If you're out and you're around people that's drunk or like intoxicated, you're gonna have some
yeah,
misunderstandings as far as like you might have some verbal altercations, but I never had really had anything as far as like any kind of fist fights or like anybody hit me, I hit anybody, nothing of
yeah.
that nature.
But just like on that topic, what would you say was like the wildest or like the craziest experience you've had like being overseas?
Honestly, nothing for me personally. I know of people who's been around things where I know a guy who was in Iceland, he got hit in the face with a bottle. Yeah, like glass to the face. I know another guy who's a good friend of mine. Guy sucker punched him and broke his nose. So like I know
Yeah.
guys who's been in certain unfortunate situations, but like as far as me go personally, I haven't had any crazy experiences.
Hey,
Yeah.
so going back to like your career, after finishing that season in Austria, did you feel like you had like another great year because like your first stint in Austria, you were like you came back with trophies. So
Hmm.
was that like a similar end of a season, like your second time in Austria?
Nah, this season didn't go that well. So me trying to come in and like I love stability. One thing about me, and
Yeah,
that year was extremely unstable. And then me going
yeah,
to Kosovo with Paya, then leaving, then coming there, and it was like the coach had some really bad philosophies that I didn't agree in. And then we had an extremely immature team. Like we had a lot of rookies on that team. I was never supposed to be on that team.
yeah,
It just kind of they're big, who was a rookie, also got hurt. And then I was available. The GM of the team knew who I was, so he presented me to the coach, and they ended up signing me. So I was never really
yes,
supposed to be a
sir.
part of that team. And it was just a lot of
Yeah,
it was an extremely talented team. But we extremely underperformed because it was a lot of the coach. I don't know what kind of philosophies he had, but it was a lot of bad philosophies. He also had
yeah,
guys in positions that didn't play to their strengths. And then the
yeah.
team was extremely too immature. So none of us really attained the goals that we should have.
So would you say that was like one of the I don't want to say worst, but like less better teams? If you don't count, obviously not counting Germany, but like,
Hmm.
do you feel like that was like the less better team you was on? If that makes sense.
Nah, I wouldn't say that because the team was so talented, like individually
No,
talented,
but
but it's just
I mean like team wise though.
um as far as my career goes, yeah, yeah. Because we never understood how to measure this team. Certain guys didn't know how to do simple defensive rotations like over dribbling, not using ball screens, not knowing how to move the ball from side to side. The way we ran our scout teams and prepare for games was stupid. I can't even use another word. It was dumb. Yeah. It wasn't the best.
Do you feel like that was again going back to being a young team, or do you feel like the coach wasn't necessarily
I
like the
I, I
smartest?
I think 50-50. Because some things the coach did, me and him had a conversation. I said I feel like he needed to adjust certain things. He did those things. But I feel like he
Yeah,
didn't have certain conversations with these guys, rookies that he should have had earlier on. And then
yeah,
also, I think guys, their selfishness and then also their lack of true basketball IQ hindered us.
yeah,
And then it was a lot of egos because also I came in from winning three championships and also being the MVP. And it was guys
yeah,
that was like they were low key envious of me, which they never had a reason to, bro.
damn,
We're teammates at this point, and
yeah,
I can feel it. And I never really gelled with them. I felt I felt like the odd man out because I was already older than most of these guys by like 8 years, 7 years, and
Yeah,
then also just the way they carried themselves. I just didn't agree with a lot of things.
yeah. So leaving that, where did you end up going after that year?
So that year is where I'm at now. So I was just with Bakken this past year.
Oh yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
So that's like that was your end of your eighth year, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So going now into year nine, I know you had a great team last year
hmm
or like this previous season.
hmm
What would you say was like the best experience like playing in Bach and playing in Denmark?
Man, the professionalism of the team. So this past year, the first year I got to experience with my family. And
Yeah,
I told them, and I say this to you, like the fact that not only how well they treated me, but how well they treated my family, my wife and my daughter was like showed me
yeah,
that how much respect they carry themselves with. But as far as
mhm,
basketball goes, man, we had some good players on the team, man. We had a lot of leadership. We had a lot of versatility. We had guys who can play the 4-3. We had guys who can play the 4-5. We had guys that can play the 1-2. So we had just a bunch of
yeah,
versatility. And we had guys that came from a lot of different highly professional backgrounds.
yeah. But wait, did y'all had a European or American coach this year?
European.
So what would you say like wait, have you had like American coaches in general like playing in Europe?
No, no. I had American assistant, but never American head.
Yeah. So what would
Yeah.
you say like just coaching wise, like what's the biggest difference playing for a European coach to then playing for an American coach, like from your college or high school days?
As far as X and O's, I don't really think you can compare because of the rule differences. Because when I played the
Yeah, oh
last time I
yeah,
played,
facts.
yeah, when I last played for
Yeah,
American coach,
facts.
it's college 35, second shot clock, things.
Yeah,
So the rule, I can't really compare them because of the rule differences.
yeah, facts. But like you being now like playing being 9 years in, do you feel like
Mhm.
after you're done with playing that you could ever go like coach?
Nah, coaching isn't in my calling. Like I'm more so
Uh,
like I want to be on the mentoring or the training side of it, and preferably
yeah,
for middle school to high school kids, because I want to give those type of kids knowledge that I didn't have coming up through the ranks.
for sure, for sure.
Yeah, so even maybe some college kids, but even college is like for most part they have certain trainers and staff that can work out with them. I want to be able to be
Yeah,
the bridge between when you're about to get a scholarship and when you're first starting. Well, when you're first starting about to get a scholarship, because like I said, there was so much information that I didn't know that I should have had, and nobody was there to tell me.
yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So do you feel like well, obviously like I don't personally like to look back at stuff and think about like doing it different, but
hmm
do you think like if you had that like guidance coming out of college and you had like somebody in your corner who's
hmm
been there before or like even a better agent,
hmm
do you feel like you would be in like a different position or do you believe that like everything is meant to be?
I do believe everything is meant to be, but I also can't two things can be true. I do believe
Yeah,
everything is meant to be, but I do also believe that you have options. You had an option to choose your path. And I
yeah,
do believe, like for instance, like my second year in Iceland when I played in the Domino's League, for instance, if I would have
yeah,
chose not to sign with Tennis and branch out and go test the European market, I think my career could have flourished better. Because with Tennis
yeah,
I end up getting hurt. I ended up getting hurt and I got fired that year. So that
yeah,
hindered my career because I was on a high trajectory. Because that first round, we had the best team in the first round. I was named best player and the best defensive player. Coming back from
yeah,
the break, I ended up getting hurt. It took my ankle a little bit longer to heal than it should have, or at least that we thought it was going to. And we
yeah.
lost some games there. They felt like we should have, and it was only like they kind of made they not kind of they made me the scapegoat. They made me the scapegoat.
Damn.
Yeah, they made me the scapegoat. So and praised by the Lord, the basketball guys never felt they end up losing in the first round of the playoffs. So that's still one of my that's still one of my highlights of my career that they lost. Cause but
Yeah,
yeah, but like if I would have never signed there. Or some people might say, well, if you never would have got hurt, but if I would have never signed it, I should have tested the European market. And then I feel like my career would have flourished. But 2020 hindsight, you can't cry over things
yeah,
that happened in the past.
of course. But like you. like you being a player who got like a lot of trophies and
Mhm.
achievements like
Yeah.
in your bag, what would you say? What trophy or like what achievement are you most like proud of, or like if you have a top three like of like trophies back at the crib
Uh, like including college or just professionally?
professionally?
Professionally, I would say my MVP in Austria for sure. Overall
Yeah,
MVP. My finals MVP with Bakken, that felt good to because
yeah,
I'll shout out to my boy Danny. We played in Munden together, but I know I should have
yeah.
got that final. I feel like I should have got that finals MVP with Munden too. But yeah, I feel like I should have got that one. But so my MVP in Austria, my finals MVP with Bakken last year, and um I would say I got a bunch of awards in Iceland one year at one time. So I would say all those is
Hard.
third. My second year in Iceland. So I would say those are my
Yeah.
top three.
Hey, you like if you don't want to answer this, it's cool. But like as a player who's played like a lot of places, if you'd have to like give a top five or build a like team of like that your teammates, like it can be like the best or like the ones you felt like you played with best. Like let's say you put yourself at the four, and then
Hmm.
add out of the teammates you've had as a pro, who's filling out the rest of the roster, and then give a coach too.
Mm. You put me on the spot. All right.
Yeah,
Let's see. My point guard would be Danny for sure. I play with him at Moon, and that's my boy. So I would
yeah.
definitely say Danny. Danny is the one. Shoot. Ooh, this is tough.
Come
Dang.
on.
This is on the spot. What
Okay, to
team?
make it easier, you can
Okay.
add two players off the bench. Two players off the bench if it makes it easier.
Now it's not even the fact that I don't want to give you five, it's the fact that I gotta go through 9 years of teammates.
Oh
So
yeah,
that
facts.
yeah, so yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. If had 2 years in, it'd be a little easier for me. But I would say Danny for sure at the one. I'm not replacing him with anybody.
Yeah.
Uh so uh KTP no Wooden Bakken. Uh, man, let's come back to that one. Let's come back. I'll get you. I'll get you before we
Yeah.
close. I gotta think about all my teams for a second. I gotta write it down. Cause I'm trying to think
Okay,
about
but
nine teams off the top of my head.
yeah. Okay, but then going back to this year when you're traveling again, playing like international competition,
Hmm.
what game or like what trip would you say was like the best one out the year?
Best one of the year. That's a good question. Best one of the year. I would either say, ooh, that's a tough one. I would say Germany, BBL, even though we ended up losing that game, but we had a really good performance at the end. We fought hard at the very end.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm trying to think which trip that was. Maybe Estonia. Maybe Estonia because we played really good as a team that game, and
Yeah.
we kind of blew them out, and we had some really good crowd. We had a good laugh. Our hotel was really nice. It was right there by the
Yeah.
water, so yeah, I would probably say one of those two, either Germany or Estonia.
Like and then like for somebody who how would you like if somebody who hasn't traveled for basketball or
Hmm.
just like hasn't played basketball like where you travel as a team, how would you explain that to somebody like the whole process of like leaving your like home gym to then what's the trip like going to another country?
And it really starts with the night before, because like you more than likely your price is going to be extremely light because you know you have a heavy travel the next day. It depends on
Yeah,
what country. It depends on what city you're in. If you have a airport, I'm just use us. I don't want to compare. So for us, we have a
yeah,
light price the day before. You got to start your packing process the night before. You know, making
yeah,
sure you double check, triple check everything as far as practice jersey, workout, tight shorts, toothbrush, everything. You pretty much doing that the night before. For us, we all our days started pretty early, so we might be up. be at the gym for like 6 a.m. We gotta drive an
Yeah,
hour and a half to the airport. After that, we get on the flight. We always had multiple layovers, so we'll fly. Well, we had one layover. We'll more than likely fly to like when some major city. We probably have like a 2 hour layover, maybe enough time to get there, get you some food. Then after that, you fly to another airport, which the flights typically were anywhere from an hour and a half to 2 hours. So you pretty much got 3 hours of travel, 2 hours of layover, 6 a.m. start, another hour. So that's pushing 6.5 hours already. Then if you got to drive to that city, that could be anywhere from another 30 minutes to an hour and a half. So that's pushing eight
yeah,
hours of your day gone already, and you haven't even got to the hotel. Then you still got to check in. You got film, you got dinner, and then depends on if you get there early enough. Yeah, you might
yeah,
go to the gym for a light walkthrough. So pretty much your whole day is gone before you even get a chance to
yeah.
settle in. Yeah.
So would you say like I don't know like if you are like in college if you travel a lot, but
Mhm.
would you say like traveling for basketball in the States and then traveling like as a pro in Europe, is there like a huge difference or is it like almost the same?
Now for me, it's a huge difference. So playing D2, obviously, we had a lot of games within Oklahoma, and we had a few teams in Arkansas. So all of our
Yeah,
games were driving distance. The only thing we might fly to was preseason games. Like for instance, when I
yeah,
told you we played against BYU. So we flew
yeah,
to Utah, but other than that, we would always drive everything. But in Europe, you will have sometimes you will have to fly places. So and then also you have some long bus rides. I remember we were in France and they had a strike in the railway system. So
yeah,
maybe a 7 hour, 6 hour train ride turned into a 12, 10 hour bus ride because of the
yeah.
strike. So literally, we going from the north of France to the south of France, and we had to play the
Mm.
next day. Yeah, so that was brutal.
But have you ever had like that you're traveling a long distance the same day of like the game, or you always get like a night in between?
Um, never true long distance. Like we some 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, and you got to play. But other than that,
Yeah,
it wasn't anything like 8 hours or anything like of that nature where you had to play a game.
yeah, for sure. So now you say like this year you had your family with you,
Hmm.
but when you're traveling again like outside of Denmark to
Hmm.
other places, are you do you still get to like bring your daughter with you, or she got to stay at home?
Now, her and my wife have to stay. They have to stay within the country,
Yeah,
so they can't come. You know, it's a business trip, so that
yeah,
they
of
can't
course.
come on those type of things. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but like you said, this was your first time having like family with you.
Hmm.
So what's that like playing? Like it's not a home crowd because like you're still away, like
Hmm.
you're outside your home country, but like having a piece of home
Yeah.
at like the home games. How did that feel like?
Man, that was amazing. The fact of like, man, you coming out for warm-ups and I can see my wife and my daughter there at the games with me. So, man, it was a
Yeah,
beautiful feeling. And then also win or lose, I got really my wife, because my daughter, she didn't really pay attention to the games, but my wife
yeah,
is there to console me or celebrate with me, whether we win or lost. So it was beautiful. Then also like some games, my daughter was part of like the kids basketball team. So some
yeah,
games they ran out with us, some games they lined up, so I was able to see give my daughter high fives and hugs, and she ran out with me before a game. So now
yeah,
that was a dope feeling, man. It was like probably one of
yeah.
the
Yes, sir.
best. No, it was probably the best. No, it wasn't the best. Well, I'm trying to phrase it probably my bad. It was the best experience I've had, just having my family
Yeah,
there with
for
me.
sure.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So now, uh, going back to that, do you think you got the fob right now?
Uh, I don't have it, man. I wish I had a pen by me because I'm really trying to think my teams that I played on. I would like I said I would say Danny for sure.
Yeah,
Um, Danny, me. You say I can have me. Oh,
yeah,
who else
yeah.
I had?
Of course.
Uh, I'm trying to think. Valor, Tennis, still. Uh, Rich was tough. Nah, Ralph was tough. I would say I would say Scholar at my two. I would put Scholar at
Yeah,
my two. Yeah, this
yeah,
last year. I'll put Scholar, Danny Scholar. I would say Ralph at my three, but I played with
yeah,
Ralph and at SOMB in France.
Yeah.
Myself is a 4. Um, hmm, who would I put at the 5? Big Jacob, Flynn. But a lot of times it was me at the 5. I'm trying to see if I can replace myself at the 5 and maybe put somebody at the 4.
Yeah.
Now I would say Flynn then. I would keep myself at the 4 and I would go Flynn. So if I had to think of it off the top of the head, I would say Danny at the 1, Skylar at the 2, Ralph at the 3, me at the
Yeah.
4, Flynn at the 5. I would go that 5.
And then you gotta add a coach.
I would add a coach. Oh, okay. I would say Gusti in Iceland just because he gave me the ball the
Yeah.
most.
Sir. Okay. Yes, sir. So I know I've had you here for like a long time now,
hmm
but to close this out, I got two
hmm
more questions
All right.
or like two more topics. What would you say like if you had to give one piece of advice to somebody that's like just graduating college or going into college that would want to come overseas and that has started off like in the same position as you, not having like people there who's already done it? What's like
Mhm.
one piece of advice you would give a person like that?
I would say, man, reach out to people, man. Instagram and social media is such a powerful tool nowadays. Like, we're basketball, we're all 1 degree separated from each other. Either we know somebody who knows
Yeah.
somebody, or we know of each other. We play within the same league. So I would say,
Yes,
man,
sir.
reach out to that person personally and send them a message. Even if they don't reply, man, take your chance. Because
Yes,
nine out of
sir.
10, because I can speak for me personally, it's been guys
Yeah.
that reached out to me, asking me about agents, asking me about teams. Or I even just spoke to a coach the other day asking me about a team that he's thinking about potentially
Mm,
going to coach for. And it's like, man, just reach out to people and get the information that you need because people are willing to give you the information if you ask. So never be afraid to ask
yes,
for the
sir.
information.
And then to close this out, you like as somebody who's like a vet when it comes
hmm
to basketball, you've been here, almost 10 years. What
hmm
would you feel like is next for you? Like next for you in your basketball career?
Oh man, keep elevating, keep growing. Like I've been working my ass off to keep pivoting and moving up in the right direction. Like I said, from a low start to trying to get to a high beginning, well, to a high end.
Yes,
So
sir.
man, I'm not sure what's next as far as the actual team goes. Man, just be on the lookout. But I just know like my talent and my persistency and my work ethic precedes me. So just to keep growing up, get to these high leagues, and of course, high leagues come high money. So I need it all.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Hey, so do you have like any socials, any projects, like anything you want to shout out?
Uh,
I'm have your links in down below.
Man, just follow me on Instagram. That's the main tool that I
Yes,
use.
sir.
It's my first and last name, Urald King 20, Urald King 20. Like you say, you'll plug it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just
Of
follow me
course,
now.
I'm gonna have your shit in the below.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
tap in with me. And like I said, year 10 coming, so we got some beautiful things in the work.
Yes, sir. Hey, bro, appreciate you.
Yeah, for
Thank you
sure.
for coming on. Hey, we had a great conversation.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, all love, man. All the best.
Yes, sir.